Hello and welcome all my grade 10 elite students to today's session. This session is a must-watch video and much awaited by all the grade 10 elite students. It is the end of term coverage for the coming exams. It is part 1 for the term 2022 to 23. And the video is taking a lot of effort. It's a long video, so must watch it till the end. And gentle reminder, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. So let's get started with the first questions. So here we are covering from lesson 1 graphing quadratic functions the following questions 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. I will show you the important steps that can be taken for solving one part and how we are going to proceed, and then in a similar way we will be solving the remaining questions. So first of all, the standard form of the quadratic function is very important, which is ax square plus bx plus c. So the coefficient of x square is a, the coefficient of x is b, the number or the constant is c. Now from here, in order to graph the function, you will calculate first the y-intercept. So you will put x equal to 0. So when you put x equal to 0 here, this and this is khalas, only c is left. So you will know that this is the y-intercept. After that, you will find the axis of symmetry. So the formula is x equal to minus b by 2a. You will substitute the value of a and b in this formula and get the x-intercept of the vertex. So this will be the x-intercept and also the axis of symmetry for the parabola, for the graph of the quadratic function. After you get the x vertex, you can calculate the y coordinate by putting back in the given equation, and then you will make a table of x and y values. So for example, in this one, ax square plus bx plus c, if you see, your a is 1, your b is 6, your c is 8. So accordingly, you can proceed with forming. After you make the table of values, you will get some points. So you will plot the points and get the graph. And from the graph, you can find the domain and range. Remember, domain is the input and it is got by the x values. Range is the output and it is got by the y values. So let's see how we are solving the question here in this slide. So as we saw, a is 1, b is 6 and c is 8. The y-intercept is 8 because it is the constant which you have here. Now we find the axis of symmetry. So x equal to minus b by 2a. This is the formula. You put in the value of b and a and this comes out to be x equal to minus 3. So the equation of axis of symmetry is this. Also the x coordinate of the vertex. What is the vertex? The point from which the parabola is starting. That is minus 3. And if you plug in here back, y is equal to x square plus 6x plus 8. If you put minus 3 here, substitute, then this will come out to be the value minus 1. So what is the vertex? X equal to minus 3, y equal to minus 1. So this is the point, or you write it in this way, x comma y, where the parabola will begin. So you know this point. Now for the x and y table, next step, because you need some points. Like for example, the first point is minus 5 comma 3. So if you put x equal to minus 5, now you may be wondering how you are getting these points. So remember the axis of symmetry once you get x equal to minus 3. So you take the points near to that. So near to that means a little more, a little less. So you take minus 5, minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1. But I would recommend here that instead of taking so many points, even if you take 3 points, that's enough. So 1 will be the vertex, 2 more points you take, and then you can freehand join the parabola to get the graph. Now another thing here, your a was 1, which is positive. So when a is positive, it is an upward parabola. So it is going to open in this way. Now you need to analyze the graph of the parabola. Now for this parabola, for this quadratic function, if you see, The domain, as I told you, will come from the x-axis. So it is taking negative value, and the parabola extends to positive side also. So it is taking positive also, it is taking negative also. So the domain will be all real numbers, positive, negative, 0. Now look at the range. Range is only from this point. This is the minimum value. So on the y-axis, the minimum value that is being taken by this graph is -1. So -1 to plus of infinity, it is going to take all the values. So the range will be the set of all y such that y is greater than equal to -1. So it can take 0, it can take 2, 4, 6, 8 y values, but it cannot take lesser than -1. So it has to be more than -1. Okay, so this is how the graph looks like. Let's take one more example. Here, if you compare, your a is -1, which is negative. So if it is negative, you know it is going to be a downward parabola. So like an inverted U, it is going to take this shape. So B, C, A, all these are there with you. So you know the y-intercept. Put in the value for axis of symmetry. So you'll have to learn this formula, x equal to minus b by 2a. Plug in the values and it comes out to be -1. Now that you've got your equation of symmetry, for the x coordinate, you put the values in the table of functions. So x values, y values you take, and how you are getting these y values? By putting back in the original equation. So what are the points? -3 comma -1, -2 comma 2, -1 comma 3, 0 comma 2, and 1 comma -1. Now if I may ask you, out of all these points, which is the vertex? Then you have to go back to the axis of symmetry. So the vertex has x as -1. So -1 comma 3. This point will be the vertex. That means the parabola will start from -1 to 3, and because it is downward, it is going to go down like this and this. Again, for the x-axis, can I say the domain is all real numbers? Because it is taking positive, negative, 0, everything. Now for y value, it is taking this maximum. So y equal to 3. This is the maximum point now. So it can take values less than -3, but it cannot go beyond 3. So the range is going to be y such that y is less than equal to 3. Remember, 3 is maximum, and here your -1 was minimum. Okay, so this is how you do the graph. Now, in a similar way, I'm now going to go quick. You have the solution in front of you, the same steps for question 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this is how the graphing questions are to be done. Please learn the steps and the formula so that you solve it correctly. Next, we proceed to the next lesson, which is lesson 1-2, solving quadratic equations by graphing. And here we are doing the learning objective. Solve quadratic equations by graphing, questions 24 to 26. Use the table to determine the location of the zeros. Zeros means roots, or it means solutions of the quadratic function. State the consecutive integers between which the roots are located. Consecutive means one after the other. So you have to use the table which is given. For example, in question 4, you are given the x and fx table. So which table is given? X comma fx table. So remember, x is the input, fx is the output, or the this is like the domain, this is like the range. Okay, now you have to look at the range. When is the range taking the value? When is it changing the value? Zeros will be got from the x-axis, from the x value. So if you have to say what are the consecutive integers between which the roots are located, you have to look at the x values, and you will first see for fx when is the sign changing. See, this is negative, this is negative, no change of sign. Now this is negative, this is positive. So one time the sign is changing here. Then positive to positive, no change of sign. Positive to negative, second time the sign is changing here. And then throughout it is negative, not changing sign. So how many times it changed time? 2 times. So how many zeros it will have? two zeros. And what are the consecutive integers? Consecutive, as I told you, one after the other. So it will be between, one solution will be between -6 to -5, because that is when it is changing sign from negative to positive. And the second root will be from -4 to -3, because it is changing sign from positive to negative. So this is how you will look at the table and get your answer. So be very confident and be very careful. Let's do one more. Fx. Look here at the table. So positive, 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 no change of sign. Now from positive to negative, there is a change of sign here. Then from negative to negative, no change of sign. And then from negative to positive, again change of sign. Here it is again positive. So 1 0 out of the two zeros, I will write here two zeros, means two solutions, two root. One root will lie between x equal to 0 to x equal to 1, because that's when it's changing sign from positive to negative. And the second root will be between 2 and 3, because that's when it's changing sign from negative to positive. So that's how you get your answer. Here on the screen, you see the solution for question 24, 25, and 26. It is exactly the same way that I have explained. So let me do 26 here. So again, you look at the fx values, the range, and you see when it is changing sign. So it's changing sign here, it's changing sign here. So there are two zeros. The first zero is between -3 to 0, that you can see. The one zero is between this, and the second zero is between 6 and 9. So another zero is between 6 and 9. You just look at the sign change of fx. That's very important for getting the correct answer. Next, we move to lesson 1-4, solving quadratic equations by factoring, and this is our learning objective. In question 7 and 8, we are going to use the concept of area. Now, area of a rectangle is what? It is length multiplied by width. So we are going to use that formula in question 7 and even in question 8. So let's see how we solve the question using the given information. And these are word problems, so you have to highlight the important information like the numbers which are given here. So area is already given. Width, you know, the length of the rectangle is 2 feet more than the width. So which is bigger? Length is bigger. So length is 2 feet more. More means addition than the width. So this is 2 plus W. So you can use the formula. The area is already given. You'll get the quadratic equation. You will find the factors and get your answer. So let's do the question here. Okay, so you know, for example, the width is x if you take it because it is unknown. So more than 2 is the length. So length will be x plus w. Now area is length multiplied by width. So you multiply both. X multiplied with x plus 2 is 63. Apply distributive property. X with x is x square. X with 2 is 2x. Now x square plus 2x minus 63. This is the quadratic equation you have got. Now you need to do the factor. So how do you do the factor? You look for two roots m plus p such that the sum is the middle term and the product is minus 63. So what can be those two numbers? The two numbers can be 9 and minus 7. So therefore x plus 9 and x minus 7. Because when you multiply 9 with minus 7 you get minus 63, and when you add 9 with minus 7 you get 2. So this is the correct choice here. So the two roots are x equal to minus 9 and x equal to 7. Since negative cannot be the dimension, the side of the rectangle cannot be negative, so we ignore this answer and we take x equal to 7. So the width is 7 and the length is 2 more, so 9. So 7 by 9 feet are the two dimensions for this rectangle. Next question, the length and width. Let me just highlight with a different color. Yeah, the length and width of a 6-inch by 8-inch. So which is the length here? The length is given to be 6-inch. The width is given to be 8-inch. And the photograph is reduced by the same amount to make a new photograph. So let us take x to be the amount by which they are reduced. So length is also reduced, width is also reduced. So let the new one will be 6 minus x and 8 minus x. Okay, so how much is the area reduced? The area is reduced by I will highlight from here to area that is half of the original. So original area you have to calculate 6 multiplied with 8. Area is the original. So original area is 48 and the new area, this is A1, this is A2, will be half of this. So that is 24 because it is reduced by half. So this is the new area. So we will use the same formula, area formula, length multiplied by width. So the new length is 6 minus x, the new width is 8 minus x, and product is 24. Open it using FOIL method. I will put the link in the description box. I have made a video on FOIL method. If you want to see that one and get yourself reminded of the method, you may do that. And from here you get two values of x, 12 and 2. So eliminate the negative sign since it cannot be negative. So the amount by which the original length and width are reduced is 2 inches. You have to just say for the value of x, so that is 2. Next, we move to lesson 1.5, solving quadratic equations by completing the squares method. This method is very important and it's very easy. So again, we look at ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, the standard form, and we use the formula b divided by 2 whole square. We add this on both sides of equation. Okay, so for example, I'm just taking an example of question 25, the first question. Here, if I ask you what is A, it is 1, the coefficient of x square. B, it is minus 13. And C, it is 36, right? So B divided by 2 will be how much? It will be minus 13 divided by 2, and then its square would be the square of this. So this is the number I'm highlighting, minus 13 by 2 whole square, that will be added to both sides of the equation. In a similar way, if I ask you what is the number that is going to be added, then it will be 1 by 2 whole square, so 1 by 4. Similarly here, sometimes it simplifies also, so minus 2 whole square, so 4, and so on. So we are going to use this formula for completing the square. Let's see how we do it. Okay, so I'll explain question 25 and then 26, 27 you can do similarly. So the first question is this one. We move 36 on the other side because we want to just look at this expression and take the square of b by 2. So square of b by 2 comes out to be 169 by 4. So I'm adding it on both sides. I hope you can see. So the left side becomes a perfect square. Which identity we used? A minus b whole square equal to a square minus 2ab plus b square. Sometimes we may also use a minus b whole square for the perfect square. So the change is only in the sign. So the left side becomes x minus 13 by 2 whole square, and the right sides after taking the factor and taking the LCM is 25 by 4. Now it is square root. So we are going to use the square root property. Take positive square root of both sides. So the right side becomes plus minus square root of 25 by 4. Now 25 by 4 is a perfect square, so this will become 5 by 2. Now you move 13 on the other side. So x equal to 13. Let me just write this step here. So x minus 13 by 2 is equal to plus minus 5 by 2. Now you know this is a quadratic function. So it will have two zeros or two roots. So what is the first root? When I move 13 here, 13 by 2 plus minus 5 by 2. So one root will be 13 plus 5 by 2. Another will be 13 minus 5 by 2. So how much? Let's add. 18 by 2 is 9. 13 minus this is 8 by 2, which is 4. So the two roots are 9 and 4, and that's what you see. In a similar way, question 26, 27 can be solved. The only difference is in the number. The method to solve is same. So understand and learn the steps. Let's do one more question of the same type. Question 28 I will do for yourself, and then 29 and 30 are very similar. So compare with ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. A is 1, b is 3, c is minus 6. So we take b by 2 whole square and add it to each side. So b by 2 would be 3 by 2 whole square, so this is 9 by 4. So you have added 9 by 4 on both sides and you have moved the minus 6 on the other side. So 6 plus 9 by 4 gives you 33 by 4, and this becomes a perfect square using a plus b whole square equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab. So this is a square plus 2ab plus b square. 9 and 4 are perfect square of 3 and 2. So x plus 3 by 2 whole square equal to this. Now we do the square root property, plus minus square root of 33 by 4. Now 33 is not a perfect square, so it will remain square root of 33. However, 4 is a perfect square, so 2 comes out. You can combine them since denominator is same. So the two roots are minus 3 plus minus square root of 33 by 2. So leave it like that since it cannot be factorized. Similarly here the root is this and here the root is this. So the method is same. Learn the step. Next we move to lesson 1.4 using the quadratic formula and the discriminant. So I have made two videos, one on discriminant and one on quadratic formula. Please go and watch them. They are very useful for grade 10. And discriminant is this quantity, b square minus 4ac, and quadratic formula gives you the root, which is minus b plus minus square root of d by 2a. So just giving you the formula here, but please do watch the videos to understand the concept. Now here, if ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0 is the quadratic equation, then you can find the discriminant and use the quadratic formula. Now what if the equation is not given? You are only given the graph. So in this question, you are given the graphs. Three graphs are given. So look at the graph and describe the discriminant. So there can be discriminant positive, negative, or 0 from the related equation of each graph, then determine the type and number of roots. So look at this graph. First of all, the parabola is downward. Does it meet the x-axis? No. So when it doesn't meet the x-axis, that means there are going to be no real roots. Which theorem are we using? We are using the theorem, I will write here for you, number of real zeros is equal to number of times the graph, the parabola or the quadratic function, parabola I'm writing, parabola touches x-axis. So it's very easy. Here it is not touching, so no real zeros, zero roots. Here it is touching 1 and 2 two times, so two real roots. Here it is touching only one time, so one real root. So number of root is khalas. Now you have to say about the discriminant. So this quantity b square minus 4ac, if the discriminant is negative, b is less than 0, negative, then it will not have any real root. It will have two roots if the discriminant is positive, and it will have one real root if discriminant is 0. So that's the concept that has been used here in your answer key for question 36, 37 and 38. Read through it. It is the same thing which I have explained for you. We have come to the last questions that we'll be doing in today's session. So this is lesson 1.7, quadratic inequalities, and that will complete the end of term coverage from module 1. So solve each inequality. Now there is inequality. What is an inequality? Less than equal to, greater than equal to, or strictly greater, strictly less, or not equal. So whenever you are doing comparison and two things are not equal, what you get is inequality and you have to do the graph. Now if you look at these quadratic inequalities, then each of their graph will be a parabola, right? You already know about ax square plus bx plus c, the quadratic function. So the parabola for an inequality would be the shaded region. So let's see how we do the graph for question 13. I will explain to you question 13 and you can do similarly the remaining questions. So for question 13, ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0 gives you a as 1, B as minus 6 and C as 9. So if you remember, it's a quadratic function, so you can do the factors of it, that is you can get the roots. So what are the two roots? X equal to 3 and x equal to 3. It's a repeated root because it's a perfect square. X square minus 6x plus 9. 9 is what? 3 square. So can I write this as x square minus 2 times 3 times x plus 3 square? So this is x minus 3 whole square. That means the root is repeated using zero factor property. So you are going to, so the parabola is going to touch at x equal to 3. Only one point. So now you have to have an open parabola opening up because A is positive, so it's an upward parabola. Now sketch the graph of the parabola that has x-intercept 3. So from 3 the vertex is going to start, y is 0, you make the parabola like this. Now you need to have the parabola less than equal to 0. That means the graph lies below and on the x-axis at 3. Therefore, the solution set is the set of all x such that x equal to 3. Now, you will take a test point. For example, I take a point 3, comma 2 here. This point 3, comma 2. So, x is 3, y is 2. Put it in this equation. What are you getting? Let's do it. So, this is 3 square minus 6 threes are 18 plus 9. So this is 9 plus 9, 18 minus 18, which is 0, less than equal to 0. So is this true? This is true. That means this area which is inside would be shaded. The test point has given you the correct answer. Now let's look at downward parabola. Now if you look at the value of A, it is minus 1, which is negative, so it will be a downward parabola. If you look at the equation has factors 4 and minus 8. So 1, 0 would be at this point, minus 8, 1, 0 would be at 4. Now you take any test point. For example, you take 0, comma 0. Okay, this is the test point which will help you which area you are going to shade. So when you take it 0 comma 0, x is 0, y is 0. So 32, if you substitute it here, put it in the equation, 0 minus 0 plus 32 is greater than 0. Is it true that 32 is greater than 0? Yes, it's true. So this area would be shaded. So the inside part of the parabola is shaded. That's how you get the graph. In a similar way, for question 15 and question 16, this is how you are getting the graph. The same steps we are following for question 17 and 18. And that brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you for joining in. Until then, this is Ms. Ruchika signing off from today's session. Wishing you all the very best. Good luck for your exam. Study well and do well. Inshallah, I will be proud of your efforts, and all the effort that I'm putting in making the video will be useful if you are taking benefit, if you are studying well and you are putting your best. So all the very best and take care. Bye students.